Hello everyone, it's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and before the video starts, I just wanted to let everyone know that I have an Indiegogo live right now of my very first comic book cover ever. So if you like me and you want to support my artwork, go on to the Indiegogo, the link is in the description below, and check out some of the tiers, and if you support it, it would mean the world to me. Thank you so much everyone, and now on to today's video. What's up all my Ewoks, Tribbles, Droids, and Wookiees, it's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and today I'm going to be doing May's Q&A video. Now, before I get onto that, I just wanted to apologize to everyone. Last month I did not come out with a Q&A video because life happened and I got my days mixed up, and moral of the story is, life happened, I didn't have time to do it. So, this month and next month, I'm going to be doing 15 questions in my Q&A videos instead of 10, because usually I do 10. So instead of doing 20 questions, that would be a very long video. So I'm just going to break it up. 5 questions, or 5 extra questions this month, 5 extra questions next month. So, I hope everyone's okay with that. If you're not, let me know in the comments and I can figure out something else. But this Q&A video is going to have 15 questions instead of 10, just so everyone knows. And if you guys are new here, please take a minute to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Make sure it's set to all, because if it is set to personalized, then that in YouTube's mind is like, personalized? We're not going to show anyone anything. They click the subscribe button, they might think that they want to watch Anna's videos. They might think that they want to watch Anna's live streams, but we don't think that that's what they want. So we're not going to show any of them. We're going to shadow ban her and block everyone's notifications from her, because that's what we like to do. So make sure that it's set to all, so that doesn't happen. Anyways, everyone, a lot has happened in the past month and the previous month. So I have a lot of questions that people are wanting me to ask. So without further ado, let's get right into the questions for May's Q&A video. Question number 1. Who is your favorite Sith Lord? Well, I've said this many times, but it's going to be extremely biased. Darth Vader is my favorite character in all of Star Wars, so he is technically a Sith Lord, so he would be my favorite. Ever since I started playing the KOTOR games, though, I really like Revan. Especially when you go off of evil, it's like Malik is interesting. I haven't finished KOTOR 2. I know that Kriya, there's something up with her. She's fucking evil. When she showed Space Jesus, that scene about her past, and she's facing off the dude with the skeleton looking mask with the red lines in it, who I don't know his name yet because I haven't gotten to that part, and then the dude that was all ripped apart, that cut off her hand at the beginning of the game, that bitch is fucking evil. I don't know if she turned, well, she's not wearing the evil getup that she showed in that flashback scene, but there's something up with that bitch. She's fucking evil. She's psycho. I lose points whenever I do something good and she's there, so I have a bad feeling about her. She's an interesting character though, but overall, Darth Vader is always going to be my favorite. I did think Bane was interesting in the first book, the second two, not so much, but yeah, Darth Vader. Anytime a favorite character comes in, it's always going to be Darth Vader. Always and forever. Question number 2. Who is your favorite Star Trek Voyager character? I'm biased. I love Chakotay. Chakotay is great. I really liked B'Elanna. I love the whole little thing between B'Elanna and Paris, and how she was, in a way ashamed of the fact that she was Klingon, and even, later on in the series how he was the one that got her to open up. And this is one of those things where they think it's bad for a woman to have a love interest or to be a character's love interest. And it's like, B'Elanna and Tom were already established characters when they became each other's love interests, and it was a mutual thing that helped their characters grow. Tom, one of the greatest scenes is when he wants to win the race, because Tom is the pilot. He was the one that was, in basically Starfleet prison, and then he gets taken out of there to go help with the Maquis thing, and then gets stuck on Voyager when it's in the Delta Quadrant. But he's wanting to win this race. He upgraded the shuttle, but him and B'Elanna have a fight, and he stops. He's like, no, this thing that was my priority in life is no longer my priority. I'm stopping because we need to talk right now in the middle of this race. I don't care if I win or not. And it turns out that it was a benefit that he didn't win, because the thing happened with the thing and the thing. But there's so, I feel like Voyager gets really, it's really underrated. A lot of people don't like it, and I don't understand why, because I love it. Yes, it does drag at times, but there's such good characters. Even the Doctor's a pain in the fucking ass, but that's one of the great things about him, is that it's like, not every character has to be likable. Even annoying characters can have story arcs. The Doctor's arc, that whole, you know, concept on if our holograms real, like, can they be considered a species? Can they be considered a fucking species? And the Doctor has to face that. It's kind of, it's like the equivalent of Data with the measure of a man. Is Data a species? Is Data a person? Just because he's an android, it's a different type of person. And they just completely forgot about that. Especially in the new Star Trek. It's just, I shouldn't even call it Star Trek. It's not fucking Star Trek. But, biased Chakotay. I loved when Seven came in. I fucking hated Kes. I hate Kes. The second that she left, I was like, thank the fucking universe and the stars and the heavens above. Thank you. Get the Kes out of there. But yeah. I like Chakotay, I love B'Elanna, I love Taurus, I even like Harry, Tuvok. They all have such great arcs, but, you know, when it's one of those episodes that revolves around a character, I always liked, you know, the B'Elanna episodes. I always loved, you know, the Chakotay episodes. I did, you know, further to the end, too. I love the Doctor episodes. So, those are the ones where I'm like, if it's an episode that, you know, kind of focuses on this character, I liked it. Seven, of course, there was always interesting stuff with her, but she was never my favorite out of them, if that makes sense. But I like it when she works with other people. But her finding her own feet and, like, her humanity side, that was good in itself, but I feel like I had seen that already. But it was still interesting to see, especially when they were facing off with the Borg, and it had, her development in that episode had to do with connecting to the Borg, like the one where she finds out that she had this whole dream life with all of these other, you know, people that were assimilated, and they have that dream world where they all meet and they're all their individual selves. I loved that. Great episode, and I've rambled on this question, but it's a good question. Good question. I can talk about Star Trek all day, every day. People just don't, YouTube doesn't like it. People on my channel don't like it because I know it's like, I'm not Star Wars girl, but I fucking love Star Trek too. Anyways, I hope that answers your question, and on to the next. Question number 3. Worst character, Rose or Jar Jar? That's not even a competition. Rose is a definitely worse character than Jar Jar. Question number 4. Why are you the way you are? Because I am, and this is how I have evolved as a human being, and this is my current Pokemon form. Strange question. I hope that answered it. Question number 5. Will you play The Last of Us Part 2? Oh, I have gotten so many questions about The Last of Us Part 2. I haven't even played The Last of Us Part 1. I have no interest in it at all. It's a post-apocalyptic type A zombie game. I am the biggest scaredy cat in the world. I'm terrified of zombies. I remember, I think The Walking Dead had 4 or 5 seasons at the time when I started binge watching it on Netflix, and I was terrified. I was like sitting there hiding my face under the blanket. I am terrified of zombies. I'm a big scaredy cat. It doesn't take a lot to scare me, but ooh, zombies, not my thing. I have followed the controversy with The Last of Us Part 2. I have seen so many of my friends' channels get struck and copyright claimed because they were talking about the leaks and everything surrounding The Last of Us Part 2. I was like, oh, us at Naughty Dog, we did an internal investigation and we found out it wasn't our fault. It's like, oh yeah, sure thing. But the thing is, I have friends that work at Naughty Dog. They have no control of storytelling or anything like that. You know, they're just artists that work there. So when all of that was happening, I'm like, well, number one, never played the first game. I had no intention of playing the second game. I didn't even know that this thing was coming out. I didn't know anything about it because this isn't something that I care about. You know, when Blizzard comes out with a new game, that's something that I pay attention to because I really like Diablo and I like World of Warcraft. Just not my thing, but if enough people want me to play it, I will. If you want to see somebody that has no knowledge on the game at all, no prior, ties to the game, I don't have my heart set on these characters. If you guys want me to play it just to get my reaction, I mean, I guess. I'm currently playing KOTOR 2 right now. I haven't finished it. I don't know what's going to happen. If you spoil it for me, nobody spoiled KOTOR 1 for me, and that game's like, what, 20-something years old? So thank you to everyone. If you want me to play it, let me know in the comments, I guess, and if enough people want me to, I will. But as of right now, I have no plans. I do know what the spoilers are for it. Doesn't sound like something I want to play. I've heard the things about the Abbey, and I know what characters die and stuff like that. It's not selling. It's not selling to me. I know that they hired Anita Sarkeesian to come and, like, to console about it. And she's like, well, this is going to help get more whammon. I'm a whammon. I'm not sold. You didn't sell it for me. Yeah. If you want me to, let me know in the comments below. As of right now, not something I'm interested, not something I was ever interested in. Doing the whole thing with Abby and getting Anita Sarkeesian for her to tell you what women want. I'm sorry. The only person that I've seen do that correctly was Mel Gibson, and that's because he had the power of knowledge in that sense. So I'm a whammon, not interested, not even with this whammon grabbing thing. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question. If you want me to play it, let me know in the comments below. Question number 6. Favorite Star Wars scene? Oh, that's a hard one. Honestly, that would have to be, like, per movie, but if I'm thinking of just one scene in all of Star Wars, it's like, of course, you want to go to some of, like, the lightsaber scenes because they're so good. Just all of Empire is just so fucking good. Okay, right now, this is the one that I've just, like, impressed upon, and it stands out in my memory so much because it's a scene that so many people, it just gets overlooked, and I feel like I've talked about it so much in, the past 2 years because the subtlety, and I love it when they're so, like, it's not the defining arc scene of the entire movie. Excuse me. It's just one of those scenes, but there's so much in it, and it just has so much substance, and it's so critical, and it's so important to the story. And it's the scene in Return of the Jedi where Luke turns himself in, and so he goes before Darth Vader takes him up to the Death Star, and he has that little conversation with Darth Vader in a hallway. And I mean, usually when we see Darth Vader in a hallway, he's killing people, but in this, it's just Darth Vader gets his lightsaber, and he says, oh, you constructed your own lightsaber, your training is complete. And it starts off with, like, that's the subtle way of Darth Vader, like, his son finished his lightsaber, his son is now a Jedi, and it's one of those things where it's like he acknowledges in one sentence that his son, like, the importance of Luke's lightsaber, and it's like, wow, it's like he's his son. It's like a way of, his, and I know that father-son relationships are different than, like, father-daughter relationships, or even daughter and mother relationships. Obviously, I'm a girl. I don't know what really, like, from first-hand experience, what a father-son relationship is. But it's like, just the first thing Darth Vader says to him is like, your training is now complete. He's acknowledging the fact that his son has taken that next step in life, and that he's, in a way proud of him. Now he's like, it's even more, important taking him in front of the Emperor. And then in that scene, it's the first time that we get a sense of Anakin's regret. And, Luke says, I'm not going to turn, you're going to take me up there. I'm paraphrasing, I'm going to take you, you're going to take me up there, and I'm not going to turn. And he's like, come with me. You don't have to do this. You don't have to turn me into the Emperor. You can come away with me. Because in the last movie, the last time they saw each other, Vader was like, come with me and we can rule the galaxy together as father and son. So Luke knew, based on what Darth Vader had told him, that he's not completely loyal to the Emperor. And so in this scene, when Luke says that, Darth Vader says, it's too late for me, son. In that single line, that shows us that Anakin is aware of that he made the wrong choice. That he knows what he did was the wrong choice. That if he could turn back, he could, but he can't. And he's he's got too much blood on his hands to to step away from it now. And it's the first real time that we see Anakin. Because when Darth Vader was talking to Luke in, the Empire, and he says, rule the galaxy together and father and son, that's the thing that we saw him saying to Padme in, Revenge of the Sith when he already was Vader. So it's the first time that you really get to see, like, Anakin acknowledge the fact that he knows what he did was wrong, that he's not brainwashed anymore, that he is aware of everything all the mistakes he has made. But like I said, he has too much blood on his hands and he can't turn back. I'm already, it's like I'm already swimming, and I'm already wet. I'm already, I'm not out of the pool, and all dry the way Luke is. He's been swimming in the water. His hands are too full of blood. But it's such an overlooked scene, but it is so monumentally important. And, it leads into, knowing that the importance of that, you kind of already know the outcome of what's going to happen. And, that he is going to betray the Emperor, and he is going to pick Luke over the Emperor, and he is going to come back to the good side because he acknowledged it in that scene. And it's so important, and the subtlety in it, it's just, it's so good. It's so, so good. But I hope that answered the question. Let me know what your favorite scene is in all of Star Wars in the comments below. But until then, on to the next question. Question number 7. Are you going to review Clone Wars Season 7? Yes. So many people have asked me this question. Anna, when are you going to do reviews? Anna, are you going to do reviews? Yes, I am. The thing is, I haven't found the right formula that works for my channel as far as reviews. Obviously, my very first video, on this channel was a review of The Last Jedi. And it worked for that video, but every time I've done reviews after, I did my Star Wars Resistance reviews where I basically acted very loosely out the episodes and just kind of talked about how many brain cells I lost every time I watched it. And then, I had my Star Trek Picard reviews. But I don't know, I haven't found that right niche, that feels right for how I do reviews of things. So I'm actually all open for suggestions. If anyone has suggestions on, review styles that you like, because right now I haven't found the one that works for me yet. So when it comes to reviewing the Clone Wars, I want to do one for each episode, and also, maybe a non-spoilers one that just is one for the overall. Actually, how would you be able to do an overall season review without any spoilers? So I want to do it, and I want to do it right. I'm just not sure what's going to work for me. So maybe when I'm in the process of doing it, I'll figure it out. But if you guys have any suggestions, I would love to know. Because right now, I don't know, there's something about when I do reviews, like I'm proud of the videos, like especially the ones with Picard. There's just some that it's like the time it takes to make and, go through and like do every single screenshot for each scene so that way you guys have visuals. I'm not the best editor in the world. So when it comes to stuff like that, I'm like, it's when it becomes work, that's when it's not fun to do. So in the Resistance one, yeah, I'm losing my brain cells, but it was kind of fun to, just be like, oh my God, like, let me vent to you guys. So maybe it's like the vent style reviews is the one that's going to work for me. But when it's like, when I'm talking about stuff that I like, how do you vent about something that you like? I mean, I could gush about it, but I don't know. I don't know what do you guys like as far as seeing reviews from me? So let me know in the comments below. I'm open to suggestions. Let me know what I've done that you like, and let me know what I've done that you do like. But I'm going to do them. I just got to figure out the right niche for me. I hope that answers your question. Question number 8. How long would you survive a zombie apocalypse? Well, like I said earlier in this video, I am terrified of zombies. I am the biggest scaredy cat in the world. That being said, I'm a tiny person. If I can zag my way through conventions full of people, I'm sure as hell I can survive a zombie apocalypse. Things that normal people don't know, that I learned very early on as a child. I know how to survive. I know how to build a fire. I know how to hunt. I know how to use weapons that not necessarily everyone knows how to use. it's just one of those things. I'm thankful every single day of my life that I grew up, on, a farm, that I know how to grow my own food, that, having animals on a ranch, you know how to take care of those types of animals. And all I would really have to do is just somehow get to my dad or another family member, because Portuguese people, we know how to survive. Go up to the mountains, get away from everyone. I'm very much in I can live in isolation. Everyone that's getting worried about the beer flu, this plague that's going on, and everyone's, freaking out because of quarantine. The only thing that's bothered me in my life is the fact that some things that I buy are, you can't get them anymore because they come from overseas, and so it's like my junk food. Everyone's eating my damn junk food. But the way that everyone lives in quarantine, aside from the masks, that's how I live normally. I don't go outside. I don't interact with people. The biggest factor on if I would survive is getting out of where I'm currently living, because I live in a city. So getting out would be the biggest problem. And if that stuff started happening, catching on pretty fast, I would be able to get out, and I would be able to get away, and I could go survive. Family's got places, up in the mountains. I think I would survive for a very long time. The biggest factor when surviving the zombie apocalypse, it's not the zombies. Like, I wouldn't have, aside from the fact that I'm tiny, I wouldn't have a problem killing a zombie. The biggest problem for me would be, everyone's biggest problem in a zombie apocalypse is zombies. As long as you have an escape route and you're not getting swarmed by them, don't be stupid. You'll survive. Maybe don't be clumsy and trip. That's another one. I'm not. But it's honestly the people. After getting away, getting out of the situation, surviving the initial outbreak. After that, it's like you have to worry about other people. That's the big factor. But if I'm by myself out in the woods, surviving, I could do that. The factors is on are there psychopaths that come into my realm. Aside from that, I have confidence in my ability to survive. I've survived this long, But yeah, I hope that answers your question. I think I would be fine. Question number 9. Will you be rioting and looting today? No. I have no interest in doing either. I joked about, going and, just live streaming, standing afar back and, live streaming it because that's what's going on in Los Angeles. But I have no interest in doing either. I don't like to be around people. At riots, there are a lot of fucking people. I have no interest in doing that. And looting, are you serious? Really? Because there's an issue and you want to have a protest about it, that does not equal let's break into, somebody else's property and rob them. That shows a lack of intelligence and a lack of class, and honestly a lack of self-respect and, respect for the people whose businesses that is. I don't see the point, and yes, I am judging the people that do that. I am hardcore judging that. I don't think it's right in any way, shape, or form. The thing that I would do is I saw a video going around on Twitter in the city, I think it's Philly, Batman is walking around. So people are like, whoa, holy shit, Batman is here. It looked really cool, and Batman, now here's, this is what I said to that. I'm like, Batman's walking around Philly. If by any chance Henry Cavill happens to be in Los Angeles and he happens to have a super suit on and he happens to be walking around LA, even the Flash couldn't keep up with me on how fast I will be there. I won't be there for the riot. I will not be there for looting. I will have one thing on my mind, and that's finding fucking Superman. Yeah. Question number 10. What Star Wars games have you played? Now, outside of, versions of Star Wars versions of games like Monopoly or chess, the only Star Wars video games I have played is KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic 1. I played that game. I beat that game. That is the only Star Wars game I have finished. I have, I think I'm about halfway through, Knights of the Old Republic 2. I'm really enjoying it now that I kind of have, you know, I got the feel for the game. I really like it. I know a lot of people have told me to play Star Wars Battlefield, and then, you know, I've heard things about the second one, I think is the one that people don't like, but then people have told me to play Jedi Academy, and that people like the second version of Star Wars Jedi Academy. I've gotten a lot of people asking me if I've played Jedi Fallen Order. I have not. The only one I have played all the way through is KOTOR 1. I'm halfway through KOTOR 2, but yeah, I'm open to suggestions. Let me know in the comments what Star Wars video games you would like to see me play, and if you've missed any of my playthroughs, they have all been archived onto my secondary channel, which is that Star Wars Girl Live. You can go check them out there if you missed the initial playthrough. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Question number 11. If you could tell your 15-year-old self one thing, what would it be? Now, if I was asked this question a year ago, it would be completely different, and the only reason why I'm going to talk about this right now is because I get asked so many times. Every time I do this Q&A video, I get at least five people that ask me, if you could go back in time and change one thing, what would it be? If you could, you know, go talk to yourself and warn yourself about Disney taking over Star Wars, like, would you do it? Like, if this was asked of me a year ago, it would be completely different, but there's only one thing in the world that I want, that if I could go back in time and change or warn myself, I would. And then maybe I could have been stronger, and maybe I could have been faster, and maybe I could have saved my sister, but I didn't, and I'm not, and I can't. But that is the only thing in the world that I want more than anything, and it's not possible. You know, Star Wars, there's hope. If somebody can buy it, somebody can fix it. You can't bring somebody back from the dead. But if I could have gone back and warned myself when I was 15, there's no way in hell it would have happened. Question number 12. Cosplay as Sabine Wren. Well, after that last question, I guess I could cosplay as Sabine. She's not my favorite character, nor the thing about cosplaying is that it costs a lot of money to do that. It's not you just go to the store and buy this costume. It's something like Sabine, you have to have custom made. She's not my favorite character, and to be honest, it's gonna take a lot to get me to cosplay as a girl with short hair. When I was a kid, my mom I had a bowl cut, I had a mullet, I had the worst haircuts on the face of the planet. This is the longest my hair has ever been in my life, and it's down past the middle of my back now, so I'm happy about that. But when it comes to, you know, if I want to dress up like a character, it's going to be one that, you know, potentially I would want to look like. I don't want to look like Sabine. I know if I were to do like a Mandalorian type character, it would be like if I was a Mandalorian, I would find like my own armor, I would paint it my own colors. Sabine's like a good character, but I don't know, part of cosplaying, I feel like that's like if you would want to like be that character in that universe. Maybe that's just my own way of looking at it, but I have no desire to dress up like her. I would want to dress up like somebody like, you know, Wonder Woman, like Leia, like Padme. You know, if you're just specifically talking about Star Wars, heck, even Mission, or you know, Bastila, excuse me, she pissed me off to all hell, but I would rather dress up like her. I would rather dress up like Kriya than Sabine. So I have no interest in dressing up like Sabine, but I mean, if somebody sends me the costume, I'll wear it, but I would never go out of my way to cosplay as Sabine. So I hope that answers your question. Question number 13. What's your favorite video you've done? You know, that's actually a really hard question. Based on like technical stuff, or based on, you know, which one, the content of it I really like and I'm proud of. I'd have to, honestly, I've done so many videos now that, you know, a few of them stand out to me, but it was never for, you know, what, maybe, yeah, okay, yeah, it's for what I said in it, but honestly, I think my favorite, and it's going to have that sentiment, is my first one, because that was my first introduction to, you know, YouTube, and because of that, you know, catapulted everything, and that's how I became, you know, a member of the Fandom Menace, and that's how I've made so many of my friends, and it changed my life making that video. So, I mean, it was like the beginning, and it wasn't even meant to be what it became. It was just a way for me to answer my friends from Facebook's questions, but it was too long for Facebook, so I posted it on YouTube, and it changed my life. So, my first video. Yeah, that's the answer. Question number 14. Do you watch anime? So, when I was a kid, of course, I've seen the Studio Ghibli movies. I remember when I was really young, I really liked Kiki's Delivery Service because I thought the cat was hilarious. You know, Studio Ghibli, I feel like that's really easy to get access to. And that's another thing. It's hard to get access, or at least it was for me when I was a kid growing up, to anime. But I remember watching all of Dragon Ball Z. I only remember like the tiniest little snippets of it. I've seen bits and pieces of what is it called, Pure Metal Alchemist, the one with the brothers. I remember that, only, again, bits and pieces. What else? I started recently watching Attack on Titan. I really like Attack on Titan. There's a lot of animes that have been recommended to me. I believe like Cowboy Bebop, One Punch Man. I have a friend that really loves the Gundam series, so I feel like eventually I'm gonna have to watch. I don't know what order to watch, but some of those I'm interested because I'm so thirsty for good stories, and I know a lot of anime has a lot of good stories. But I got really turned off to anime when the little bit that I did have access to when I was a kid, because my friends, like, they're like, we need to watch the Sailor Moon movies, but then we watched the second one instead of the first one, and I had no idea what was going on, and I didn't like it, and I'm like, these girls look weird, they make no sense. From what I remember, I just remember I was a kid, and I'm like, I do not like Sailor Moon. They look weird, doesn't make sense. The art, no. But I feel like I've opened, and then a little bit later, when I got older, I watched Princess Mononoke, and I was like, this is so good. I remember Totoro, again, I watched that when I think I watched that before I watched Kiki. I remember Castle in the Sky I liked, but the story was so different from, and of course I'm going on Studio Ghibli stuff. I have watched anime. The only one that I'm currently watching is Attack on Titan. I have not finished it. I'm still on season 1. I'm interested. If you have any ones that you would like to recommend me, I'm more than happy to, you know, watch and, you know, attempt to get into anime. But especially after the whole, you know, kick Vic and, you know, I stand with Vic. I am hardcore on the I stand with Vic crowd. I mean, it's up kind of now, out of screen now, but I have, you know, I went and I met Vic. Maybe you can see, but I have Brawly right there behind me. So I am interested to, you know, get more into anime. I just, there's so much, I don't know where to begin or where to get access to it. Because if there was a Netflix where it just had all of them, I would like something like that, just a streaming thing that I could pay for, and it has every single anime on it, and I could watch it. I am one of those people that I prefer it, you know, at least Attack on Titan is not dubbed. I'm reading subtitles. I like it. I feel like you get a lot of the, you know, the passion in there. And I remember one of my friends, told me, they're like, oh, because I was saying, like, I love Princess Mononoke, but there's some things that's in it that I don't necessarily, I feel like I don't know, maybe the translation wasn't right, and some of my friends that are from Japan, they're like, yeah, you lose some of the meanings behind things in the translations. So there's that whole aspect. That's a very long answer to a very short question. I hope I answered it, though. Question number 15, the last and final question. Favorite Star Wars EU story? Now, I don't know every aspect of the Star Wars EU, but if we're going to talk about books versus video games, I really, really, really enjoyed the Thrawn duology. I know a lot of people like the Thrawn trilogy. I enjoyed it, but I really loved Luke's character arc in the Thrawn duology. And I'm going to spoil it, so if you have not read it, do not watch this, because if you have the chance to experience that firsthand without any spoilers, it is so good, it's worth it. Now, spoiler alert, spoiler warning, I'm going to give spoilers on what happens. in the Thrawn duology, in Luke's character arc, you know, he had already met Mara Jade in the trilogy. So this is, you know, a decade later, and Luke is looking for the Hand of Thrawn, and he's on this planet. Mara was there first, and he runs into Mara. This is where the Force power gets introduced, where Luke is able to speak to the animals, the natives of that planet through, you know, channeling the Force. Luke is stronger in the Force than Mara is, so he's able to communicate, whereas she, you know, it was just like creepy whispers type of thing, the way that it's described. And in this, Luke and Mara are going to this cave, you know, underneath where this facility is that has the Hand of Thrawn. You find out what the Hand of Thrawn actually is in the book. But Luke and Mara are having, and for those of you that do not know, you do know, Mara is Luke's wife in the Expanded Universe. I actually have her action figure from the comic 2-pack right here. And so this is kind of the beginning on where that romance starts, because there, even in the Thrawn trilogy, I didn't even get the inkling that there was actually I knew, because I'm like, oh yeah, Mara's gonna be his wife, and it was like, maybe there was hints at it, but I didn't feel like it was necessarily forced in that romance. And the fact that it took 10 years to get to where they'd get to at the end of the duology, Luke basically had his Jedi Academy, and something went terribly wrong. And this is in a completely different series, and Timothy Zahn is that good of a writer that he, you know, he knew what happened, and he built something off of Luke's failings. And so Luke had, and Mara, he says this, he says to Mara, why you came to my academy, why did you leave? And she said, well, you were focusing on the other students when I felt like you should have been focusing on me, because I'm stronger in the Force. And Luke said, well, because you were stronger, I felt like you could do more on your own. And she said, well, that's where you failed. You focused more on the people that were struggling, that, you know, maybe didn't have what it took to become a Jedi, but you focused on them instead of focusing on the ones that were more advanced, that were stronger in the Force, that had the potential to become Jedi, and you focused on the other. You know, you focused on the weakest link instead of, you know, your strongest player. And there was a student that got tempted by the dark side, and so to connect with that student, Luke, you know, dabbled in the dark side to connect with that student, and because of that, it has haunted him. And this was really big controversial in the whole EU stuff. And so Timothy Zahn, such a good writer, he was able to incorporate that and have this character arc with Luke where, yeah, Luke dabbled in the dark side, but it was only to connect with his student, to bring him back, to understand, to walk in his shoes, so that way when he was trying to relate to him, to understand him, he could say, yeah, I know, I'm here with you, let's go back together. And, you know, what happened. Luke's dealing with the repercussions. It is still affecting him, just the tiniest little dabble into the dark side that he did. And Mara sees that, and Mara helps him to realize that, and he is finally able to, you know, destroy that demon, and he realizes that he loves Mara, and, you know, he asks her to be his wife, and all that. I like that. I would have loved to seen that. If they go and someone that, get fucking Timothy Zahn to do it, writes it, and you get, you know, the actor, Sebastian Stan, the guy that plays, Bucky in Marvel. They've done those comparisons where he looks like Mark Hamill. Have that happen and then build off on that. That would be a great sequel, but I don't think they're ever going to do it, which sucks. But it is what it is. And yeah, that's my favorite Star Wars EU story from the books. And I have not dabbled into all of it, but that is the one that captivated me. So yeah. I hope that answered your question, and I hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A video. The next one, again, will have 15 questions. If you want to have your questions picked for the Q&A video, then to do that is to follow me on Instagram. Well, you don't necessarily have to follow me, but to get that alert that I'm doing that currently in the story, because that's where it is. I do the questions in the story, then I go through and I pick the ones that I have not been asked yet that I find the most interesting. And yeah, so until next time, everyone, have a great rest of your day. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Please like and share this video. It will really help me out in the algorithm. And until next time, may the Force be with you, because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone. What's up, everyone? It's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and I have an Etsy store, so if you've ever wanted to own a print of my artwork, this is the place to go. As you can see, I have a lot of recognizable characters, from horror films to heroes to Star Wars characters. Some of the notable characters I have on here are Darth Vader, which I did a couple live streams painting, so you can own a print of this painting. I also have Luke Skywalker, the binary sunset version, one of my favorite scenes in the original New Hope movie. I have Darth Maul, which Ray Parks himself actually complimented me on Instagram. And then last but certainly not least, Ahsoka Tano. So if you want to own any of these prints, go right on over to my Etsy store. Again, that's The Art of Anna, That Star Wars Girl, or TSWG for short. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. What's up, everyone? I have a P.O. box, so if you want to send me some mail, go ahead and send it to Anna, That Star Wars Girl, or TSWG for short, at P.O. Box number 28171, Santa Ana, California, 927998171. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much.